everybody, this is Stacy. So I had this idea. I needed to mail something the other day, a small something, and I didn't really have the envelopes I had were way too big, and the smaller envelopes didn't have enough protection. So I thought that I would make an envelope like this out of some really thin, this is really super thin, let's see. See the edge there? Really thin chipboard. Anyways, I decorated the front. I think it's fun to do the whole, you know, mail art collage-y thing. And here is another one that I made out of just a file folder. And you can see that I put the little eyelets through and the wax thread. And I haven't decorated this all the way yet. I thought you guys might like to see how I did this because these could come in handy for, you know, all kinds of stuff. You wouldn't necessarily have to mail them. Or you could stick some things in it and stick it in another pack back to it. So this is my chipboard. And you can see it's kind of a long piece. It measures, this is a 14 by 8.5 piece of chipboard. And the first thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to fold one of the ends up, and I'm probably, and don't crease it down yet, I'm probably going to go about, so there's about a third or so. It's probably divided into thirds. Maybe I could go a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. It just depends on, how, you know, where you want it flap to go. If you want a short flap or a long flap. So once you figured out where you want that to be, make sure it's square and lined up and just press it down. And remember, this is a thin chipboard. I don't think I would try this with a with a medium weight chipboard. So there you go. Okay, so once we get that all pressed down, you're going to want to take a ruler and just find the area where, and this is going to be a guideline for you. So just find the area where it's folded up. It just folds up really easy. And then stick a pencil down in here and just draw a line. Okay, so after that, let me grab my longer ruler. I have this funky ruler. After that, you're gonna line this up somewhere, maybe on your craft mat. I find that this is the easiest way to do this if you have a craft mat. And for something this size, with the thickness that it is, I would say go about an inch up and draw a line. And you'll see why in a minute. And you want to do that on both of the long sides. So line it up on your craft mat. Ooh. If you don't have a craft mat, you know, you can just flip your ruler over up this way. And, you know, measure an inch in and on both sides, and then draw a line from end to end. So, okay, I want to make sure this is straight and draw another line there. Okay, so now what you're going to do is grab a pair of scissors, or you can do this with a razor knife. I just found that for this, it was easier with a pair of scissors. Now, since this is going to be the bottom portion of the envelope, we're going to keep these little flaps here because these are going to fold in, and this is what's going to, after we put the glue on it, this is what's going to hold it down to the back half of our envelope. So what you need to do is cut at a small little angle to where the two lines meet. And then we are going to carefully, see if I can do this, cut along your line here. and you're cutting the long edge off. You want to save the short edge, you're cutting the long one off. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Oop, but we're going to do it this way. I hope you can see this. It looks like you can. And then again, cut along your line and cut this edge off. All the way down. Okay. So now you have this. I suppose I could back up the camera, but lift up the camera, but I wanted you to be able to see stuff. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our ruler and we're gonna place it on the line here where our little flap is. And we're gonna hold your ruler down really firmly, and you're gonna grab this flap and you're just gonna kind of work it up here. This will help you make your crease in your flap. And then once you get it there, and there's a reason why I haven't cut this at an angle yet, and you'll see that in a minute. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just put your ruler down on your line, hold it down, and fold your piece up. Because if you tried to do this without the ruler, there'd be a good chance that it'll be all kind of wangly. It won't be straight. So, okay. So these are the flaps that you're going to glue down, but we're not going to do that quite yet. Okay, first off, let's see. I'm going to do this first. So, where these flaps, you want to pull your flaps in and lay them down on the top there. Well, it's not the top, but the inside of the envelope. Just pull the flaps down and lay them out. You want to make sure your envelope closes this way. Okay. And you're going to draw just a little line along the edge to the end of the, what is this? To the end of the chipboard. And then you're going to want to take something round, and you're going to make your circle, and it's going to go from line to line. And the reason why we don't want it all the way over here is because we have to cut our flap way down, and we want a good majority of this flap to be glued to the top of the envelope. So we can cut this out now and just cut it, follow the line. Here to here. Okay, and that should be nice and straight. Now you can take a little sliver off of each side. Okay, like so. And then that way when you fold the sides in, you're not going to be able to see them. Okay. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to take our round object, our round plate again, and you're going to want to make the shape of your flap. And you can do this either way. You can do it on the inside or on the outside. But okay, so what I do is I put the plate all the way to the edge of the chipboard, and then I kind of eyeball it. And chances are you are not going to get it perfectly straight, but I do have a trick for that. So after you eyeball it, just, you know, kind of just make a line. Okay, I'm going to look at this, and you can see that that's not straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick which angle I like the best, and I'm going to cut this side off. My light is really weird today because normally I film in the mornings when the light's brighter in here, so I have shadow and things happening over there. Now take your little piece and line it up on the opposite side, And I'm sure you guys know this, but in case you don't. So line it up on the opposite side. And then you draw. The little end there's hard. And you draw that. Okay, and you can see, look at, it was way off. So let me see, make sure I cut the right line. Okay, and then you cut it along the line here. I'm trying to stay in frame. I hope I am. I hope I am. Okay, and then there'll be kind of a couple little pointy points there, so I'll just get them off of there as best you can. Okay, so now we're gonna fold this up this way, and I wanna mark where the envelope ends. So I'm gonna make a couple marks here, okay? And then I'm probably going to come up from that mark about a quarter, let me think. Yeah, it looks like it's about a quarter. So I'm lining this up to about a quarter of an inch, if I can see. I'm trying to do it on the dots, so it makes it a little harder to see. And then I'm going to hold this down and bend this up and over. Okay, so now I have my final bend there. So there's your envelope. Now, if you're going to add eyelets for string or brad or anything like that, you need to make sure that you do it before you close this up. And then, so now that you have your little envelope, we're gonna put some really strong glue. And if you don't have any glue that dries quickly, that's okay. You know, you can always set something on top so that it dries. Okay. So I'm going to, this glue is called Fabri-Tac, and if you're a student of Nick the Booksmith, you already know all about it. It's pretty amazing stuff. It dries very quickly, and but it does have like acetone or something in it, so it has a very strong smell. So if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, then you know, I don't recommend it, or just make sure you're in a well ventilated area. It depends on your sensitivity, I would guess. Anyway, so you're gonna put a good amount of glue on here. And you know, Elmer's white glue, you know, would work just fine. The Elmer's Glue All stuff, that would work just fine. It would just take a little longer to dry. Put the cap back on. Okay, and then really you don't want it too close to the edges because you don't want it seeping over. But so I just do this, push it down, and then I flip it over. And it's gonna be a minute to dry. You're really gonna need something to hold this down with. So, and then, you know, you can go ahead and decorate it like I did here. This is a file folder. I did it the exact same way, except for, since this material is not as thick, I only put a 1/2 inch little hinge in there. So instead of measuring this part an inch, I just measured it a 1/2 inch. But, so that's, I just thought I would show you that, so you can go around and make a whole bunch of cute little envelopes. And then of course you can always make these out of paper, just regular paper or cardstock or whatever, super easy. Anyways, happy Friday. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you back here again real soon. Bye.